Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're taking a look at a very fun themed team in the Great League, the Rock, Paper, Scissors theme team. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, Gobber the Robber, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now the team consists of Carbink on the lead as of course the Rock, we have Kartana as Paper, and we have Scizor as Scissors. This team, definitely more of a team for fun than for climbing, but it does result in some very fun games. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and rock, paper, scissors our way to victory. Hopping into the first match, picking up a tough lead, Carbink into Shadow Venusaur. Farming up energy with the Carbink, going for a catch onto Kartana, but the opponent holds onto their energy. They bank so much energy, and now they're going to send in a Clodsire as their response to the Kartana save switch. Clodsire does not hit very hard, but Kartana is absurdly frail. Kartana cannot take a hit whatsoever. Kartana, these Razor Leafs are adding up though, going to fire off the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade will be shielded by the Clodsire. Now Kartana has a decision to make. Kartana is going to double shield and look to potentially make a play for switch advantage. Kartana looking for the farm down, gets the farm down, has the Aerial Ace for the Venusaur, and in comes the Venusaur. Do they know about the coverage move of Aerial Ace? They do not. They get KO'd. In the back it's Lantern, and things are looking still a bit tough as Lantern has two good matchups remaining going up against the Scizor and the Carbink. We're going to see Lantern firing off the charge move here. Shadow Scizor is extremely frail. Thunderbolt secures the KO, and now it's all up to Carbink. Carbink is down a shield, but the thing is Carbink is massively bulky. Lantern will fire off the Surf. Carbink may need a bait to win. Carbink farming up to the back-to-back Rock Slides, going for the Rock Slide bait, hoping the opponent will commit the shield. Opponent does commit the shield. Carbink has to be able to survive a Surf here. This will be close. Surf from the Lantern does not KO. Carbink able to make it to the Moonblast on 1 HP. Moonblast ensures the knockout and gets the win. Moving to the next match, and we've got the Battle of the Bulk, Carbink versus Lickitung. Definitely nice to see the Lickitung here, as Lickitung does do pretty well into the back two Pokemon just by virtue of massively outbulking them. Carbink will be taking super effective damage from the Power Whip, but Power Whip does not do a lot of damage from Lickitung. Carbink able to withstand that damage, no problem, farming up and going for the Moonblast. Moonblast will not KO, but it will deal some solid damage onto the Lickitung. Lickitung is going to no-shield Carbink, continuing to farm up. Carbink will be able to tank this Power Whip as well. Power Whip will connect. Carbink farming up. We now see a save switch into Shadow Scizor. Opponent now going to respond with Gligar. Gligar is hitting for neutral damage with the wing attacks, and these Night Slashes will add up. Night Slash shielded by the Gligar. We're going to see the shield back from the Scizor. Scizor shielding up the Aerial Ace, as an Aerial Ace would probably just straight up KO. Shadow Scizor cannot take a hit whatsoever, and it's a CMP tied to the Iron Head. Iron Head gets the KO. Opponent still does have access to that Lickitung with a stored Body Slam in the back, and their final Pokemon, and it seems like they're weak to the Scizor. The fact that they bring in the Lickitung here. Body Slam will connect. In the back, it's Carbink, and now Carbink is about to get absolutely deleted by the glassiest Razor Leafer, Kartana. Kartana absolutely shredding through the bulky Carbink. Rock gets absolutely destroyed by Paper, and that's a good game. We see a Core Breaker on the lead in the next match, Carbink into Alolan Sandslash. Sandslash does well into this entire team, so definitely not a fun Pokemon to encounter. Sandslash will be able to connect with the super effective Drill Run, but the nice thing about Carbink is it just has a massive amount of bulk. It's actually able to tank two super effective Drill Runs from A-Slash. A-Slash commits an early shield, Carbink farming up energy. Opponent is at the back-to-back Drill Runs here. Decision time for the Carbink. Carbink is going to match shields and will lose CMP. However, this Drill Run will not be enough to KO. Carbink will be able to withstand this damage, make it to the Rock Slide, and win the one shield, so the opponent has to double shield if they want switch. Opponent is going to double shield for switch. Carbink farming up. Can it make it to the Rock Slide? No, the opponent gives up switch, and they switch lock their Medicham. And this is honestly just about best case scenario here. Looks like the Medicham may have ended up lagging there just a little bit. We're going to see the Iron Head fired by the Scizor. Medicham is going to make it to the last second charge move. Scizor is very glassy. We are going to see the shield as Medicham goes for the Ice Punch, and the Bullet Punch registers, securing the KO. Opponent Let's see. They send in their final Pokemon. It's Azumarill. Azu will be answered with the Kartana, but this neutral Ice Beam is going to do so much damage. Kartana cannot take a hit whatsoever. Oh my! Look at the damage. Back in comes the Sand Slash, and Sand Slash will secure the KO with the Ice Punch. It's now all up to Shadow Scizor. Shadow Scizor throwing one Bullet Punch and going for the Iron Head. Will 2 Iron Heads plus the Bullet Punches be able to get the win? It looks like the answer is yes. Shadow Scizor will not be denied, making it to the Iron Head, taking out Azumarill, and securing the win. The tough leads continue in the next match, leading Carbink into Swampert. This is a massive core breaker for the team. We're going to see a save switch into Scizor, but Scizor also has an extremely negative matchup here. Swampert will fire off the Hydro Cannon. Scizor commits the shield. Opponent is going to switch out. They send in Steelix, and that is incredibly nice of them. They could have just stayed in with the Swampert, one switch, and then put the Steelix onto the Carbink. So a pretty big misplay by the opponent might potentially leave an opportunity for this game to be winnable. Opponent doesn't bother building up to the Earthquake. They're just going straight for the Breaking Swipe, and they throw on alignment, giving Scizor an entire Bullet Punch for free. Due to the debuff, this Night Slash will not KO, but it will get them low, so the opponent is going to commit the shield. They're farming up with the Steelix, they're going for the Breaking Swipe, and at this point, you can just let this through. You can choose to either go for energy on the Carbink, or send in the Kartana, as 3 Razor Leafs will secure the KO. In the back, oh my goodness, opponent has Dugong. Dugong getting absolutely torn to shreds by Razor Leaf. And the Dugong is going to get a debuff with the Icy Wind. We see a switch into the Carbink, in comes the Swampert, and this could get a little uncomfortable, as the Swampert with energy is still quite scary. Swampert goes for the Earthquake. That does quite a lot of damage, but that's not going to be enough to get the KO. Opponent is now going to be hit with a Moonblast. They no shield, and they get the attack drop, and the Swampert is just too low. Swampert does not have the back-to-back moves here, so they're just going to get Razor Leaf down by the Kartana, and the opponent concedes the match. We've got a battle of bulk again in the next match, leading Carbink into Defense Deoxys. Considering what's in back, definitely nice to see this Deoxys on the lead, as Deoxys would absolutely shred the back 2 Pokemon. Deoxys is going to farm up and fire off its energy, looking for a CMP tie to a Moonblast, but Carbink is just going to look to overfarm and then return fire with the Moonblast. Moonblast does quite a lot of damage here. Deoxys will protect itself with a shield. Carbink farming up, going for the Rock Slide, losing CMP to the Deoxys, but Carbink will be able to tank this move. Rock Slide is not going to be enough to secure a knockout, but it will get that Deoxys into the red health. Deoxys now low. Deoxys in range where it could get farmed down. Opponent sends in Obstagoon, and this is a bit worrisome, as if it's triple counter, then Kartana just has absolutely nowhere to go. Scizor will commit the shield as Obstagoon goes for the Night Slash. Scizor going for the Night Slash itself. Night Slash, of course, is resisted, but fishing for a boost. Does not get the boost, but could potentially commit to a farm down once it commits the shield. Will need 5 Bullet Punches to KO here. Scizor gets the KO as the 5th Bullet Punch will get the knockout. In the back, it's Water Gun Lantern. Is this winnable? Kartana shredding through the Lantern with the Razor Leaves. Lantern makes the last second charge move. It's the Thunderbolt. It KOs Kartana. Scizor gets the farm down, but it's too low of HP, and it's a CMP tie. That's extremely unfortunate. The Deoxys had energy. The Night Slash is shielded, but Scizor does not get to use the second Night Slash, as Psycho Boost will secure the win for the opponent. Nightmare lead for Carbink in the next match, as it leads into Clodsire. Clodsire is an absolute wall to Carbink. We see a save switch into Shadow Scizor. Scizor farming up energy and going for the Night Slash, as the Clodsire is so far deciding to stay in. Night Slash will connect, and Scizor gets the boost. Okay, this is about to get fun. Clodsire full sends the Earthquake. Opponent now going to send in Golbat, but even Golbat is not going to appreciate boosted charge moves from the Scizor. Scizor is going to grab a shield from the Golbat. Golbat firing off energy here. Are they going to go for the Shadow Ball? Yes, they do. They full send, and they do get the KO. This does give an opportunity for Carbink to get a little bit of farm, but man, Kartana is going to have to put in work versus this Clodsire in the endgame. They're going to be firing off the Shadow Ball, as they only get to one move. Carbink able to tank that, no problem. And when the opponent sends in the Clodsire, it's going to be Kartana time. Kartana is going to meet the Clodsire in the back. It's Pelipper, and look at the Razor Leafs. Oh my goodness. We see the Pelipper getting absolutely torn to shreds. They go for the Weather Ball, and they do not make it to another move. Clodsire looking for a potential farm down. No, they're forced to throw energy as the Razor Leafs are far too oppressive. Sludge Bomb gets the KO. Oh no, this is every Clodsire's worst nightmare. It's about to lose to a Carbink. Carbink is going to be hit with the Earthquake, but that will not KO, and Carbink is at the back-to-back Rock Slides. Rock Slide number 1 will be shielded, and going for Rock Slide number 2. Carbink may be absolutely walled by Clodsire, but today it emerges victorious. Carbink finally sees a good lead as it leads into Shadow Alolan Ninetales, but the opponent save switches into Medicham, and this is tough. This backline does not have a good response to Medicham, but the good news is that the back 2 Pokemon can still do pretty well into the Ninetales. Farming up and going for a Rock Slide bait. Rock Throw Carbink does need a successful bait to win the ones versus Medicham, so that bait is really good matchup knowledge here. We're actually going to see a no shield by the Carbink. Psychic will connect. Carbink looking to farm up and make it to the Moonblast, and does. Is the opponent willing to double shield here? If they do, we might see a switch. No, not choosing to switch lock the Scizor. Instead, just going to let the Carbink go down. The opponent has a ton of energy on the Medicham now, but at the very least, the Scizor is not switch locked. Ice Punch is shielded. Scizor makes it to the Night Slash. This is neutral damage, but this is a Shadow Scizor, so that neutral damage will get a KO. It's Azumarill in the back. In comes Kartana. Kartana getting absolutely torn to shreds. Oh my goodness, these resisted charms looking like super effective damage. Leaf Blade gets the KO. In comes the Azumarill, and the opponent concedes the match. Tough lead in the next match, Carbink into Shadow Steelix. Again, Carbink is completely walled. We see a save switch into Kartana. Kartana is going to be answered with Trevenant. Kartana farming up and going for the Leaf Blade versus the Trevenant. Kartana is going to get a no shield from the Trevenant, but Kartana not going to be able to flip switch, just choosing to let that through. Can send back in the Carbink, but it hasn't been long enough for the switch clock to be up, so then the opponent would just get free farm with the Steelix, so instead just going to send in the Shadow Scizor. Scizor has a lot of work cut out for it, especially when an Azumarill enters the field, as these bubbles honestly do non-insignificant damage here. And Scizor's biggest problem is while it can technically do okay versus both, it's just going to run out of HP before it's able to 1v2 here. Azu goes for the Play Rough, so the interesting thing here is they are not running Ice Beam. Farming up a ton of energy, we see a switch into the Carbink as the opponent fires off their energy, and it is going to be the Play Rough, but back in comes the Steelix. Scizor has a bunch of stored energy, but unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to be enough. We're going to see a shield, and this is a Heavy Slam Steelix. What are the odds? Oh my goodness. To make it even worse for the Carbink, Moonblast will connect, but Heavy Slam, I mean, this is a Rock Fairy type. That is double super effective damage. Will Carbink be able to survive the Heavy Slam? Carbink does, but this just gives more farm for the Steelix. Carbink farming up, but not able to get to the Moonblast. Steelix will go for the Breaking Swipe to neutralize that energy. In comes the Scizor. Scizor does have a lot of energy. It might need a boost if it's going to win. Going for an undercharge on the Night Slash, but the opponent will commit the shield. Going for an undercharge on Night Slash number 2. Opponent commits the shield, and they do make it to the Breaking Swipe. Shadow Scizor does what it can, but just falls short of being able to sweep in the endgame. Hopping into the final match, and we see a familiar lead, Carbink into Shadow Venusaur. Farming up energy, looking for the Frenzy Plant catch, but the opponent holds onto their energy, and now they send in Sableye. But Sableye, due to the slow switch, will get outpaced here, and they're going to have to shield if they want switch. And that honestly doesn't really seem worthwhile for the opponent. As they shield, they keep switch, they leave with energy, but this energy is completely useless going up against the Carbink. Carbink, whether it's return or foul play, everything is going to be resisted here. The unfortunate thing is that mid-game did not take a lot of time, so the switch clock not yet up for the Carbink, and Venusaur will be able to secure a KO with the Frenzy Plant. Carbink just gonna let it go, trusting in the Scizor. While Scizor is a wall to energy from Shadow Venusaur, Shadow Scizor is extremely frail. Scizor commits the shield, opponent goes for a Sludge Bomb definitely should have gone for the Frenzy, and that cost them. They don't make it to a second move because they went for the Sludge Bomb, and now Carbink is about to get absolutely destroyed. Ironhead will connect as the opponent concedes the match. All in all, Rock, Paper, Scissors theme team definitely has to be one of the more creative theme teams that I've seen in a while, so definite props to this battler. The team, as I mentioned, definitely not a team that I would recommend for gaining elo. Carbink, of course, is like rank 1 for the Great League, but Shadow Scizor, and especially that Kartana, while they're fun glass cannons, they're glass cannons for a reason, and they just cannot take the hits that you would want them to. As we saw in that final game, Scizor had to shield a Frenzy Plant, which is double resisted, just due to how frail it is. So definitely some more fun anti-meta picks, but again, not a team that I would recommend for climbing elo. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.